कोई एक नया लेटेस्ट Gen Z slang जो आप मुझे सिखा सकते हैं?
So there's one called as Riz.
Can you make friends at a workplace?
Once you leave the organization, your friendship grows even fonder. As Gen Z, we want to see work-life balance. When I joined, I was like, how can people work for 9 hours straight? It's important for any of us to be passionate. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि हम जिंदा हैं. Passion will keep you started and like your discipline will keep you maintained. That somehow the culture has come to a standpoint where everything is very mixed.
Hello everyone. Namaskar. Welcome to Wisdom Whispers with Abhishek Mittal. Relationships, friendships, corporate life, right? बहुत सारी चीज़ों में हम फंस जाते हैं, right? We get strangled into these things and we don't understand that why it is required, right? Why we need to maintain it. So उन्हीं चीज़ों पे बात करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ कोमल मल्होत्रा है. वो बात करेंगे कि अच्छा जब उन्होंने अभी रिसेंटली 3-4 years बैक कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ ज्वाइन करी तो व्हाट्स हर एक्सपीरियंस बिकॉज as you said, work-life balance बड़ा मुश्किल होता है when you enter into corporate life. But I think let's talk about it. Let's discuss it openly. So let's welcome Komal to the show. Hi Komal, welcome
Hi
to Wisdom
Abhishek,
Whispers.
thank you for having me.
Great to have you, Komal. We worked together 8 years back.
Right.
Right.
There was a small stint that I did with Ernst & Young and he was my super boss. So that's how we were connected. And since ages, we are connected on LinkedIn and that's how we're meeting today with this podcast.
Great. Thanks a lot, Komal.
Right.
So Komal, start करते हैं. आप मैंने कहा अभी recently you entered back into the corporate life after completing your studies, है ना? So what was the most surprising thing जो आपने encounter करी when you entered into the corporate life?
Honestly, Abhishek, so when you're coming from studies, college, everything is very chill. You're in a very different fashion game. You're experimenting so much. You're meeting so many people. So when you enter corporate, definitely there is a structure. People think that there's a different matrix which is followed there in terms of professionalism, in terms of the dress code, in terms of the language that we see, right? So there's so many different things and it was very, very jolting to see that somehow the culture has come to a standpoint where everything is very mixed. So initially, I remember back in the days, everybody was suited up in office. But I think there's a pre and post-COVID change. We see people really in casuals now. There is a little relaxed culture. But definitely, the one startling thing that I saw was when I joined, I was like, how can people work for 9 hours straight? And hundreds of people sitting in office and they're working for like 8-9 hours at a stretch. That was so difficult to see because as Gen Z, we want to see work-life balance. That's the first thing we want to see in office. So that was very, startling to see. But yeah, we're going ahead with time and we're seeing how things are working. It's a very new experience and very nice.
Good. Because I think that's a one thing which like there is an expectation from a corporate people to the people who are joining fresh, right? कि अच्छा वो लोग एक आपकी policies follow करेंगे,
Right.
they will be dressing accordingly,
Right.
and they will be on time, right? वो बहुत सारी चीजें those are different when you are in a college life and you move. Then it takes little jittery कि अच्छा ये कैसे हो रहा है. As you said, right? 9 hours long sitting and working. Sometimes people even don't stand up for their breakfast or lunches and dinners because there is some deliverable which they need to share, right? So it becomes a little difficult. But I think when you are entering, you need to be prepared with these small things.
Right.
So that's important. So as you said, right? 8 hours, 9 hours when
Right.
on a stretch when you are working there. So how do you prioritize your well-being and mental health in this situation, right? When it's a fast-paced corporate life
Right.
and you have to work a lot, तो वो आप कैसे manage करते हैं?
Very interesting question. So personally, it's very close to my heart, work-life balance. I really speak about these topics and I really abide by them also. I think there's a big concept. I'm going to office for my professional growth, also for my bread and butter. But at the same time, it's important for any of us to be passionate. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि हम जिंदा हैं.
Right.
That we are living, right? We're not just working dead, right? Only for one sole purpose. So passion, junoon, जिस चीज को कहते हैं, that is very, very relevant. And to strive that, I feel a person has to come up with both passion and discipline to constitute work-life balance. Because passion will keep you started and like your discipline will keep you maintained. So that's very important. And when you talk about really how do you maintain balance, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि corporate में when you have to first decide the kind of company that you're working for and the kind of role,
Yes.
because that really determines the kind of work you'll be doing. Like core hours आपके कितने होंगे, कितना आपको free time मिल सकता है, कितना आप अपने family को time दे सकते हो, friends को दे सकते हो, other activities. So personally, I love doing a lot of things. Like I love experimenting, whether it's food, whether it's travel, whether it's fashion, so many things. So I try ki at least 5 days if I'm working, bilkul relentlessly, dhang se. So 2 days selfishly I get for myself, whether I'm doing cooking, baking, my Pilates, yoga. Aajkal itni sari cheezein hai, Abhishek, in the market. You can explore so many cafes, you can do trekking, but कोई ना कोई passion project होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And you have to define that for yourself. And similarly, choose an industry which complements and a kind of job, or maybe your boss and your seniors, which you can't define,
Yeah.
but something which complements and syncs with your passion project. You will find purpose in life. कि, you know, मेरे पास अपने लिए भी वक्त है और मेरे पास ऑफिस के लिए भी वक्त है. So it kind of balances the entire puzzle. So,
And I think you picked up a very important question of choosing a career for yourself. Because not every career is same. Some careers need 6 days working or 7 days working, or you need to be available 24/7. Let's talk about media, right? I have interacted with a few media folks. Like, you never know when the story is coming.
True.
So you have to really choose कि अच्छा मुझे करना क्या है, and what's my goal in the career, in my life. कि अच्छा I need to follow this passion, or I need to work for this NGO so that I keep myself motivated. So accordingly you choose your career. Not every time we are able to choose our careers.
True, absolutely.
So it's sometimes it's कि अच्छा आज try कर लेते हैं, नहीं चला तो then I will move. I will pivot to something else, and that's fine. There is no hard and fast rule that if you have chosen a career for yourself in the start that you can't move or you can't pivot.
Absolutely.
So depending upon your lifestyle, you have to change. That is very important, and I really like the thing you have picked up, because this is so important for every one of us, right? So as a Gen Z, as someone who's not fresh but still new to the corporate world, so what are the things which you think a corporate should change so that it is more welcoming for the new generation who's coming into it? Because as you said, the people who are coming into corporate life these days, unke paas apna ek mission hai. They have their vision, right? They have their passion to follow. They have their own social life. They want something from the corporate people as well, from the companies too. So what do you think corporate should change so that they are more welcoming for Gen Zs?
Very nice question again. So there are two broad things that come to my mind when you ask me what corporate should change for Gen Z. I feel that to feel more welcomed, you know, we always follow a very conventional approach in corporates that, you know, aapne itne saal complete kar liya, so you might get promoted. Or similarly, if you have this much amount of XYZ experience, you might be handling a team. But I think since we are starting afresh and we're coming, even if we're doing hard work in our B schools and doing multiple courses and so many learnings beforehand coming to the main ruling ground, we also want that entitlement of, you know, being able to experiment with so many other things, because I think this generation wants a lot of things on their platter than only doing the same monotonous work. So for that, I think the corporate should be a little more sensitive to providing good opportunities based on maybe your career trajectory, based on your caliber, vis-a-vis your number of experience. So that's one thing that I feel would really motivate all of us to work extra hours, or maybe give our heart and soul to our work. And rather than not thinking कि यारो चलो 3-4 साल हो गए, अब हम ये कर सकते हैं. And the second thing I feel is bringing more color to like corporate. I don't mean like metaphorically speaking, but जैसे कि bringing more activities, bringing more networking events, bringing more cultural shows, something where you can show your maybe ethnicity, diversity, your passions, something that can help you, you know, build connections. So something more vibrant in office than only, you know, the black and white job that you do. Maybe you can bring more color. So something like that I think would be very, very interesting, and that pulls. आजकल एक छोटी सी चीज़ है, जैसे ना हम बहुत सारे ऑफिसेस को देखते हैं लिंक्डइन पे या यूट्यूब पे कि फ्री फूड मिल रहा है, या ये इवेंट हो रहा है, या कॉन्फ्रेंस पे बुलाया जा रहा है, यू सूटिंग अप एंड यू गोइंग. वो चीज़ें बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगती है लोगों को, एंड उसका कोई वो नहीं होता. मतलब इफ यू सी मॉनेटरीली स्पीकिंग, दैट्स अ वेरी गुड इंसेंटिव.
हाँ, वो मॉनेटरी इंसेंटिव नहीं है, बट रिटर्न उसका बहुत अच्छा है. बिकॉज आई रिमेंबर आई वाज वर्किंग फॉर वन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, दे यूज्ड टू हैव not offsites, they used to have trainings which used to be in Uttarakhand.
Oh, great.
The trainings used to be trekking. And you can learn a lot of things on trekking, right?
Mhm.
Because it's a team activity. It's
Mm.
not an individual activity. You might need to carry someone else's bag as well.
Right.
If the someone else is like has fallen or is not perfect right
Mhm.
now. So it gives you a lot of like एक अंदर से entitlement मिलता है कि हाँ, right, you are linked with your organization
Mm.
because you are going out with people. It's not a closed environment. So I can relate to it because I have done that in my
Great.
career, in my
Right.
jobs. But yes, these trainings or these events can be more helpful to keep them engaged.
Right. It's really
Uh,
fun.
yeah, because I see a lot of companies started doing these conferences.
Mm.
कि चलो, we are doing this conference and let's bring all these people together. Or even these promotional events, promotion events.
Mm.
It's not just party, right? It's promotion events where जितने लोगों का promotion हुआ है, they call you at a place and then they give you some ज्ञान and there are a lot of
True.
party and everything. So
True.
it gives you an opportunity कि अच्छा 100 different people say I will network.
Right.
And it gives you kick, not to everyone, but to some people it gives kick. कि अच्छा हाँ चलो, I will meet 10 new people.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल as simple as a coffee या फिर
Yeah.
chai meetup and you meet CXOs or Manco members. It's so nice because you feel कि आप इतनी सारी insightful चीजें अपने साथ लेके जाते हो. इतना elaborately, like sometimes a lot of companies cannot fund off visits and all of that. But I think they're very, very good opportunities to keep us all engaged and to, it helps us click and post things also. So that also keeps us very engaged on LinkedIn and Instagram.
वो क्विक डांस ऑन द फ्लोर
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
वो आजकल बहुत चल रहे
हाँ
हैं.
जी.
बहुत कंपनीज के लिंक्डइन पे आता है कि अच्छा आज एकदम से हमारे साथ ये हुआ. So those things
And
are
it's fun for
interesting.
all generations.
Yeah.
You and I, everybody enjoys.
Yeah, everyone
So
enjoys
it's
it because
a win-win.
it keeps you motivated. It keeps
Right.
so the one thing which you picked up, right, कि 8-9 घंटे तक लोग अपनी सीट पे बैठे हैं. At least it makes you wake up.
बिल्कुल.
It makes you get up कि अच्छा चलो खड़े हो जाओ. You stretch. Simple. वो stretching it impacts because it gives you more oxygen. It gives you back. It helps your mental well-being.
Definitely.
So because बैठे बैठे everything is like कि अच्छा मेरी eyes dry हो गई हैं. Now my mind is not working. आप खड़े होते हो even for a 1 minute or 2 minutes and you are laughing. Simple. सब चीज खत्म.
It's needed for sure.
Yeah. अच्छा थोड़े से ना let's do some rapid fire questions and then we will go back to our detailed discussions.
Sure, Abhishek.
ठीक है. वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस अचीवेबल है या मिथ है?
बिल्कुल अचीवेबल है. आपको बस डिसिप्लिन चाहिए और पैशन चाहिए, लाइक वी स्पोक. डेफिनेटली देयर सो मेनी थिंग्स यू कैन डू. आपको बस आप 5 डेज वर्क कर रहे हो तो 2 दिन की छुट्टी भी सही है. एंड देयर आर सो मेनी द लीव पॉलिसी विद टाइम आई थिंक इज वेरी वेरी फ्रेंडली. You can take such good planned leaves throughout the calendar and you can plan your vacations, you can plan your getaways, go to concerts, spend time with family, friends, do whatever, but you can plan your life so well. And I think both things are really really relevant, like your personal being and your professional growth also. So
Great.
बहुत सही रहता है balance अगर आप maintain कर सको.
Lovely. Biggest misconception about Gen Z's workplace पे?
Too many misconceptions. A, they say they're very irresponsible, they're very lazy. This I don't believe.
Lazy तो नहीं कहता होगा कोई, मुझे नहीं लगता.
No, they say
Okay.
they say कि it's very difficult to get work out of them.
Yes.
They think they're very volatile. They'll not stay with the company for longer. But that's also not true. I have a lot of juniors from my B school, a lot of peers that we interact with. And I see if they see कि the company is a place where they're getting all kinds of work-life balance. अब आजकल लोग ना मतलब अभिषेक सिर्फ पे को देखना या ये सब चीजें ही नहीं. They look at bigger things like macro scale पे कि what are the other things that the company is giving me. Whether it's giving me recognition is really, really important, which we don't talk about. Whether it's giving me enough exposure, like giving me a palette of opportunities. It's giving me these extra things like networking events, a lot of offsites. Trainings,
आजकल तो बहुत important हो गया that
Yeah.
you need to stay relevant, you need to train yourself.
True.
And there are few organizations who are very deep into the trainings and the people really stick to it because trainings बहुत अच्छी होती हैं.
सही में. And they're very costly trainings. Some of them your company reimburses. So that's happened for us also and it's great.
Great. Can colleagues be your close friends?
It's a very controversial question. So they say that I think there is always a derivation which has come from COVID. Pre-pandemic, people used to go to office almost daily.
Yes,
so you're sharing almost 80-90% of your life with your colleagues. So that means a lot of more trust, a lot of more good camaraderie. You're able to talk to them more freely. But with after that, I think there is definitely some rigidness which has come. There's a hybrid which is getting followed. People don't get a lot of face time. Plus, there's a lot of competition at workspace. So I personally feel that there should be a healthy boundary between personal and professional self.
Great. So Do you believe in labels like boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, or it's like there should not be any labels around
I
it?
think labels are pretty cool because A, they make you feel very special.
Okay.
If you label somebody as a friend or as a relationship partner, they'll feel very, very good. And I feel there is no harm in actually labeling something when you're committed to somebody and when you're certain about something. There's a trend called as situationship, which is
Yes.
going in the market today. So I completely don't understand that. There's no harm in actually labeling something which you actually worth and value.
Okay. Uh, is social media a real reflection of your real life relationships?
Honestly, no. Because I'm also part of social media and I love my creative space. I also love aesthetics, capturing and, do my photography. But I feel, Abhishek, that we always look out for perfection in social media. And it's always driven by traction, numbers, likes, comments, subscribers. So you have to really put in that hard work. What looks good on the camera might not be reality.
Okay.
So I don't think it's a perfect reflection at all.
Okay. बहुत ही interesting question है ये मेरे लिए. Is FOMO a significant concern?
Bilkul. Hands down, FOMO is real. FOMO is fear of missing out for those
Yeah.
of you who don't know. So definitely, and I think this is cross generations. Not only for Gen Z, they will definitely see on social media, my friends are traveling here, they're doing this concert, they're going to this, they're making food, they'll also do the same thing just to replicate. And it's such a good thing. Sometimes I feel that keeps you driven, that keeps you updated. And it's also true for your generation. I think my parents also, when they see statuses of their family members and they're doing this and that, they also want to do the same. So I think it's a healthy mix, but FOMO is really real.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it is real. Even I sometimes feel that.
Okay.
Though I don't believe in it personally,
Mm.
because it leads you to comparison sometimes.
Definitely.
So और वो हमारे ना नॉर्थ इंडिया में तो बहुत ज्यादा होता है ये
जी.
कि हम एक दूसरे
शोशेबाजी.
शोशेबाजी जो है ना वो
Right.
इफ यू गो इन साउथ इंडिया दैट पीपल डोंट बिलीव इन दिस कि
true,
अच्छा ठीक है
true.
यार वो
They're very simple
they're
people.
very simple.
and very
नॉर्थ इंडिया इज वेरी
Yeah.
डिफरेंट.
Right.
कोई एक नया लेटेस्ट जेंजी स्लैंग जो आप मुझे सिखा सकते हो?
बहुत सारे slangs there. I have a younger brother. He keeps on speaking all these. So there's one called as Riz. RIZZ.
Okay.
It's borrowed from a word charisma. So Riz.
Okay.
Right? It means charm, attraction, something which is very appealing to your eyes. There's another one which is trending on social media these days. It's called Delulu.
Yeah.
So
I've
Delulu.
I've heard this in Karan Johar
Yeah.
episode as well. So.
They say Delulu is the new Salulu. So that means delusion is the new solution.
Okay.
That's also borrowed from K-pop culture, and they've made that adage go viral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीजें हमें नहीं पता होती.
Yeah.
we are not up to date.
This is going to get updated only. Yeah.
Reels बता देती हैं, but
हाँ जी.
हाँ. Do you think social media has changed the way we form and maintain our friendships?
Yes. So ironically speaking, I think friendships don't need to be through a multimedia application. Friendships essentially is a bond that you
Yes.
share with somebody. It's a close FaceTime. It's as simple as just being with somebody, just speaking, just being silent, just sharing that space. That's called socializing, right? But now I think multimedia like WhatsApp, Instagram, even Snapchat. Snapchat is a very new application which allows you to connect on a daily basis. So you maintain streaks. So something where I am sharing a content and you're sharing a content, so it builds up to a streak, and then it's counted by number of days we are together, right? So all these applications do strengthen your bond because I'm able to share my daily updates with you. I'm able to talk to you maybe more, and it's practical in places where people are separated by distance, right? So that's the use. But I feel definitely social media we don't need for friendships.
Because मतलब बहुत सारी sayings है, right? बहुत सारे memes चलते हैं, but those are really true for a millennial like me, because पहले जब हम college में थे तो we used to say कि चल मिलते हैं program बनाने के लिए, right? So that was the thing which we used to say, but now आजकल तो program बनाने के लिए ही it takes a lot of time, right? So it's and it's easy, right? As you said, right? Friendships or relationships are between two people. You don't have to show it to the world. वो रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है उसकी. So but हाँ, social media ने बहुत सारी चीजें हिला भी दी हैं. Because as you said, like not everything is real which you are posting on social media.
Totally.
So one other question is like, do you think friendships help with your professional career or your personal development, or the friends play a very important role there?
Indeed, they do. I feel I have a lot of friends,
Mhm.
and I'm very proud with that fact. I personally feel that diversification is not only restricted to portfolio, it's
Yeah.
also required in your friendship.
Yes.
Because I need to have colleagues, I need to have close camaraderies, I need friends to whom with I can gossip, friends with whom I can go shopping, friends with whom I can share my troubles, somebody who's more kind, empathetic, understanding. So all kinds of friends have their own relevance. And since you asked about how do they help you in work,
Mhm.
so I have a lot of colleagues, specifically from my college and my
Mhm.
B school, who are very driven people. And, people in MBA colleges are not driven by age groups,
Right.
right? You have people from all kinds of experience, backgrounds, ages, different specializations. So they do really help you in networking. They help you in your day-to-day discussions. So sometimes when you're talked about, can you make friends at workplace these days?
Yes.
I think you can go back to your friends, real friends, and talk about your daily struggles with them. So it's a very good mix, and they do help you.
Yeah, because this is a $1 million question.
Yeah.
कि can you make friends at a workplace?
Yeah.
मुझे मुझे कई बार सच्चाई लगती है
जी.
and I think now I can relate to it. Pre-COVID वो सच्चाई थी.
Mm-hmm.
I have very good friends who were colleagues
Right.
from my previous organizations. We meet like every month.
Wow.
It's like that. So वो
Right.
friendship is beyond the work,
Mm.
beyond what we have done in the corporate life. And it was a pre-COVID. Post-COVID, है भाई कोई मेरा नया फ्रेंड नहीं बनाया होगा इन माय कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ
Right.
जिसको मैं बोल सकूं हाँ कि ये फ्रेंड है बट हाँ बहुत
Right.
जरूरी है.
Right. I agree. It's very precious, like all friendship. And they say once you leave the organization, your friendship grows even fonder
Yeah.
because the competition is eliminated.
Yes.
It's very, very, the bond stays. Yeah.
Yeah, most is it's not with everyone, but with few people, of course. You don't want to be friend with 1,000 people. You
True,
want to
true.
be friend with 10, 15
Close
people,
circle.
and that will work.
Right.
क्योंकि वो नर्चर करना भी आसान है. जितना बड़ा फ्रेंड सर्कल या नेटवर्क सर्कल होगा, आपको उसको नर्चर करने में आपका बहुत एनर्जी ड्रेन हो जाता है.
True.
सो इट्स नॉट इजी. अच्छा, तो एक कोई ऐसा कैन यू शेयर एन एक्सपीरियंस मे बी ऑन द वर्क प्लेस कि जहाँ पे यू माइट हैव बिल्ड अ रिलेशनशिप विद अ डिफरेंट जनरेशन?
Yes, many of them. I'm so proud of these relationships. So one that I would like to speak about is the relationship that I have with my immediate boss. So she's a boss lady, okay, and she's mother of 2 kids. She has 2 dogs, and when I see her, the kind of aura she comes up with in office, she's perfectly maintained. She speaks a different tone. She's so driven. That's something that's so attractive about her. At the same time, when I see people of that age, when they're managing a good family, it's very, very, it's amazing, to see how do you, that's actual work-life balance. And
Yeah.
they're slaying, leadership positions. They're making, and the best thing, Abhishek, is when I see how they maintain themselves. Because at such an age, fitness plays a very important role. And if
These
you're
days,
actually
yeah.
working on your diet and your fitness goals, your muscle building, your flexibility, that's crazy. Hands down, that's something to look forward to. And when you talk about interpersonal relations, she's been a mentor ever since I started. So I started as an intern in this organization, and then I joined full time. And ever since that stage, these couple of years, she's helped me as a person, like both professionally and personally. So it's very good to share that bond and to keep learning from people who you look up to.
Like sometimes I think this new generation, they face a lot of challenges when they have to build a relationship with a different generation. And let's not talk about millennials. Let's talk about baby boomers, right?
Okay.
So what do you think can be a 2-3 good traits that how you can break that ice and you can build that relationship with, let's say, baby boomers, right? Because when you get into a corporate life, you will see your leaders, they're not even millennials, right? They will be in their 50s, and you have to build a relationship with them.
Right,
तो
true.
कैसे कोई टिप्स हैं कि आप उनको बिल्ड कैसे कर
बिल्कुल.
सकते हो?
एक तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है we always want to pitch our voices. One tip is to listen also, because you have to be a good listener. You also have to absorb what your peers are saying, what your leaders are saying, and then just absorb that and then take decisions. Sometimes you don't have to just put your points out. So I think you have to be a good listener and you have to imbibe the learning. ठीक है, they have come with experience. There's a lot of things they've seen, ups and downs. So that's one. B, I feel that it's not the generation. So like I said, ki an organization is always a healthy mix of diversity, genders, people from different ages.
Right.
In fact, these days you don't call ma'am and sir. Everybody is by first name.
By
So all
first
that MNC culture has propagated to India very well, and the policies are very friendly. So you might not even know. इतने लोग इतने fit होते हैं कुछ लोग
हाँ, कि
organization
age
में, आप
मालूम ही
उनकी
नहीं चलता
शक्ल से पहचान ही नहीं सकते कि they are so like of a different age group. So that's so good, and I think the only tip is just to talk freely, maintain that professionalism, and yeah, it's good to go. अपना काम बस ढंग से करना पड़ता है, nothing else, I feel.
ओके हमने बहुत सारी चीजें सोशल मीडिया की इसकी बात करी राइट
हम्म,
कि सोशल मीडिया इज बिकमिंग अ वेरी बिग पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ
Right.
राइट सो आजकल क्या है जैसे आपने कहा कि पैशन फॉलो करना बहुत जरूरी है
जी.
तो मेरे बहुत सारे डिजायर्स हैं
हम्म,
एज एन आई एम एन एस्पिरेशनल जनरेशन राइट आई एम नो वन हु विल accept an average life.
हम्म,
Let's talk about that because
Right.
everyone in this new generation they want to achieve something. उनकी
Definitely.
aspirations है वो aspirations काफी कुछ social media के कारण भी है
जी.
तो उसको maintain करना कितना जरूरी है और because not everyone can be successful to be honest right
True.
there are a lot of people who will remain average or because they're not aspirational that's also true right
True.
so how you think it is important to manage this between कि मेरी aspiration मेरा social media connections and all
जी.
these things
Right. It's a very, very valid question in today's generation and world because we drive by numbers. Everything is driven by numbers. Even the podcast that you release, you will see the traction,
Yes.
what the audience are reaching, what are the comments, what are the feedbacks, criticism, constructive criticism. It's all relevant. So, and even till date, there are subjects that we have data analytics, big data analytics. So,
Yeah.
we're propagating all that. So, let's not dismiss that. It's relevant. But at the same time, you can't shut away from reality. Real life is really different from perfection because in real life, there are imperfections that exist in human beings. In work, like you said, not everybody can be successful. You have to accept the defeat sometimes and take the next step forward, right? So I feel the biggest tip of all time can be to keep the expectations not too high. At least realistic to limits, make small goals. As simple as I might have goals like I want to attend a conference, one concert a year, 2 treks a year if I'm into fitness. These are achievable things. At the same time, I'll end up saving. I will end up taking some time. I will end up shopping for that. I will end up making itineraries for that. I will end up collecting people for that. That's pretty doable. But if I make goals like I want to do this account balance at the end of this year, or I want to do this and this and this, very big plans. Like, definitely, you have to look at feasibility because otherwise disappointments are also real.
Okay. I think you picked up a very good part about कि अच्छा एक और चीज है इसके साथ which is a self care
जी.
right क्योंकि मैं अपना भी देखना है मुझे
बिल्कुल.
and I think we started the discussion around कि अच्छा mental well-being is also very important as you said कि अच्छा passion follow करोगे तो you will be able to de-stress yourself so uh, what you think like you make some time for your self-care and what people should do for self-care and for the personal growth in both these things in this busy social life
Right.
because I've already touched base on this one of the podcast कि now there are 3 lives people live
True.
one is a professional life one is a personal life one is a
social
social
media
life
Yeah.
right and social life is not your personal life it does not mean that it's a time for me
Right.
sometimes it is compulsory networking or compulsory meeting friend because otherwise I might lose a friend or maybe I have a FOMO so जिसके कारण मैं वो एक अलग life भी जी रहा
हाँ
हूँ
जी, बिल्कुल.
so like what you think why it is the self-care is important and personal growth is important with this social life
Abhishek, there's a very interesting concept which has just arisen. It's called a digital detox. That
Okay.
means I will not look at any Blu-ray
Huh.
for a while. I will not look at my phone. I will deactivate all my socials for a period of, say, 1 day or something, and I will be on detox. That's my me time. So that is one way that people have derived to stay away from their social life. Like you said, your third life,
Yeah.
which is just a projection of your real life, right? It can be true, it cannot be true. Now, when you talk about self-care, it's something so close to my heart. I really enjoy my me time. So since I'm single right now and I have, we all have responsibilities, right? But despite that, despite 80-90% in office and other things and traveling and here and there, you come back to, your place, you're looking at a little podcast or like a television series or as any episode, any reality TV show, or even if I'm scrolling my phone, that's my me time. There is a thing called as skincare. People have started skincare now. So there are 5, steps procedure. Pehle girls used to do all these intricate stuff, but now even guys have picked up this habit, and it's such a good form of self-love. You're taking care of your skin or your hair or your body, and you're eating well. As simple as making your own breakfast.
Yeah.
Ya fir raat ko before sleeping, you're making your chamomile tea. They're very simple things, but they constitute a big portion of self-love because you're doing something for your own selfish self. It's a very small part of your day-to-day life, but that's something. Other than that, I think the weekends that you get or the vacations that you plan, you definitely need to do things that you like. So it can be as basic as you collecting coins or as bizarre as you riding a horse. It can be anything. It's your passion project. So I enjoy fitness, so I try to selfishly take that 1 hour or 45 minutes every day for my gym session, या जो भी मेरा पिलाटीज का क्लास होगा, योगा होगा, to mix different forms of cardio. या फिर अगर मुझे लगता है कि I can cook for myself because it's more healthier, so I can do something very basic. कुछ भी आप अपना कर सकते हो. So it's very, very good. Sometimes you plan for your weekends, you book some tickets, you go. There's so many things that are happening in Delhi and otherwise. So it's good to take that selfish time. You will feel very, very released. And there's a thing called as good dopamine release. जैसे आप जिम जाते हो तो आपको अच्छा डोपामिन किक मिलता है, सेरोटोनिन लेवल्स रिलीज होते हैं, तो you should engage in those activities to feel much better mentally also and physically also.
Yeah, I think like dopamine release, that's a one thing which we have already talked about in one of the previous podcasts,
Okay.
which is more about your mental health too, right? And our guest was talking about this very important. Why? Because our dopamine kick has moved to the next level.
True.
So if you are continuously scrolling reels, if your earlier the dopamine was here and now if it's here, then you need something else to increase the dopamine.
True.
Because now it's a new average for you.
True. Absolutely.
So कुछ ना कुछ आपको अपने लिए करना बहुत जरूरी है.
बिल्कुल.
Because otherwise what will happen is कि you will get stagnant and then you will start feeling कि अच्छा यार what I'm doing for myself, I'm lazy. I don't think कि अच्छा मैं अपने लिए कुछ कर भी रही हूँ और कर रहा हूँ, right? I'm just going to office, just doing this work. Then those things will start hitting your mind, right? और ये सेल्फ लव जो है ना वो आजकल इट्स बिकम सो इम्पॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि पहले ना हम लोग इस पे ध्यान नहीं देते थे इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि अच्छा हाउ इज माई मेंटल हेल्थ. पीपल नेवर यूज्ड टू टॉक अबाउट इट. पीपल यूज्ड टू थिंक ये साइकी है यार, ये क्या बातें कर रहा है, पागल है क्या ये. बट नाउ इट्स सो इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट पीपल थिंक कि यार आई हैव स्ट्रेस, so let me think that how I can reduce the stress. I cannot remove the stress, but I can reduce the stress because stress can be from anything. मेरा मोबाइल नहीं चल रहा वो भी stressful है, right? Stress is not something कि यार कुछ ऑफिस का काम है या कुछ घर में है, कुछ रिलेशनशिप में प्रॉब्लम है. Anywhere. ड्राइव करते हो सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रेस होता है. Just think like सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रेस तो ड्राइव करते हो दिल्ली NCR या बैंगलोर में हो तो अलग लेवल का है. So but self care is very important. I will say कि अच्छा everyone should take out some time, and it's not difficult. It's very easy to say कि मेरा schedule is so busy. For me, when I used to manage teams, now I'm not in a team management role, but for me it was very important that people go for their meals.
Right.
It's so important because there are a lot of people who have tendency to eat at the desk because काम है. मैंने कहा यार ऐसा तो कोई काम नहीं है which will not give you a 15-minute break to have a proper meal.
True, and some people really enjoy eating food.
Yeah.
And that's, see,
That
what
is
do
also
you live
self-care.
for? Like, you
Yeah.
live for happiness, small bits of happiness, whether it's small or big. But ultimately, sabka life goal khushi hota hai. Right? So if you're getting that happiness from small things, why not? Self-care is it's just the word, but it's as simple as you eating your favorite meal, or you just spending time with your friends, or like just in a peaceful environment. It can be as simple as that.
Yeah.
But self-love is really important.
Yeah.
ऐसा होता है अभिषेक आजकल ना, मतलब there is a thing that I would like to pin out. So आजकल लोगों के heart breaks हो जाते हैं या फिर adult friendship breakups हो जाते हैं, जो भी. Then they realize no, now we are lonely, now we have to do self-love. या हम अपने साथ solo dates पे जाएंगे, we're going to do things alone.
Solo dates.
Then they realize no, that concept has come in. People
Yeah.
go to Starbucks, they open their own laptop and they're doing their own coffee, and that's what they call solo dates. So that's happening. But that's not after a repercussion. It's not a reflex. It's a daily thing that you have to integrate, like you rightly said.
Yeah. बहुत सारी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स पे डिस्कशंस करी है कोमल, सो थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर शेयरिंग दैट. I think maybe just to close this entire conversation, that what you think when like how we can marry these expectations
Mhm.
of corporates from Gen Z, and the Gen Z who was entering into the corporate life, they have some their expectations. उनको marry करने के लिए uh, कुछ हम यदि let's say discussion point, naturally we can't provide a solution, but at least we can identify 2-3 points कि
Mhm.
अच्छा, so that both people are comfortable.
Right.
Just imagine, right? Companies need the output.
Hmm.
For them it does not matter कि आप 8 घंटे काम कर रहे हो या 12 घंटे काम कर रहे हो. So naturally आपको यदि उन्होंने हायर किया है तो दे एक्सपेक्ट समथिंग फ्रॉम यू. एंड बट होता क्या है कि अच्छा, आप दूसरी साइड से आपको लगता है यार मेरे को गुलाम थोड़ा ना बना लिया है.
बिल्कुल.
सो दे हैव दैट फीलिंग एंड दे हैव कि यार हमने हायर किया तो हमने काम भी करना है.
Mhm.
तो ऐसी क्या 2-3 चीजें जिस पे हम मे बी वी कैन जस्ट कीप इट ओपन फॉर सम अदर डिस्कशन विद आई विल ब्रिंग सम सीनियर कॉर्पोरेट प्रोफेशनल, सी लेवल
Mhm.
एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड से कि अच्छा कैसे कर सकते हैं इसको सॉल्व.
Okay, Abhishek. So I think the biggest disconnect is the time scheme or the days you spend in office. Definitely, these are good parameters to get everybody on the same page, to bring more discipline, to bring more, creativity, to make them more driven to get to the targets. At the end of the fit, you said like you said that you have to achieve the results,
Yes.
right? So I think we can definitely ponder on whether the core work is required. I can get the job in a smarter way. I can include technology. These days, this generation uses a lot of chat GPT and other integrated technology
Right.
advancements to get their work maybe smartly or
Yes.
creatively or quickly done, and not using the traditional approach. But if they're getting you the right efficiency and the right effectiveness, then what's the harm? So this is something that you can definitely explore, and this is something we have to ponder about, that how do we bridge this disconnect as to getting the work done and not how to get the work done.
So Komal, thanks a lot for joining us for this discussion. I think बहुत ही interesting discussions था.
Right.
बहुत सारी चीजें जो हमने डिस्कस करी वो Gen Zs और Gen Alpha के बहुत ही नियर है, which is their independence, जो कि बिल्कुल आप उनको
Non-negotiable.
non-negotiable है. Right? Their relationships is friendship, relationship is their personal relationship, their professional relationship, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड आई थिंक जो हमने सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट एंड इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक डिस्कस करा है, दैट इज अबाउट कॉर्पोरेट. क्योंकि एवरीवन हैज टू गेट देयर.
Right.
आपको पैसा तो कमाना है,
जी.
आपको अपना काम भी करना है.
Right.
सो उसके लिए कहीं बीच में कुछ हमें ढूंढना पड़ेगा सो दैट वी बोथ आर हैप्पी. कॉर्पोरेट इज ऑल्सो हैप्पी, दिस जनरेशन इज ऑल्सो हैप्पी, एंड दे बोथ वर्क टुगेदर and make it a successful for both the
Right.
organization as well as for the personal
Right.
career.
Right.
Thanks, Komal. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us.
Abhishek. I had a lovely time. Thanks for all the insightful discussions.
रिलेशनशिप्स के बारे में बात करी हमने. हमने जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात थी वो यही थी कि हम कॉर्पोरेट के एक्सपेक्टेशंस को जनरेशन की एक्सपेक्टेशन के साथ कैसे मैरी कर सकते हैं. सबसे बिगेस्ट चैलेंज है जनरेशन, उनको लगता है कि यार वो हमको नहीं समझ रहे, कॉर्पोरेट को लगता है वो हमको नहीं समझ रहे, क्योंकि बॉसेस आर ऑलवेज राइट, है ना. हमने हमेशा सुना है. तो उनको लगता है यार ये काम नहीं कर रहा, उनको लगता है यार ये बहुत ज़्यादा ओवरलोड कर रहा है. और जैसे कोमल ने बोला कि एफिशिएंसी कैन बी अ वन सॉल्यूशन, राइट. You don't have to look at कि कितने घंटे काम किया, क्या काम किया. You have to just see an output, and if both are okay with it, and I think people are moving towards that. But let's hopeful that we keep working on towards these goals where both are happy. So if you have any feedback about this episode, if you have any new thoughts around it, please write to us. You can reach out to us on Gmail, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to us. If you are hearing us on any audio podcast platform, please follow us so that you keep getting the regular updates. So thanks a lot. Have a good day.